So here's we go. What we have is a Predator 212cc chipper shredder. We got this at Harbor Freight. The price was good. The reviews online were pretty good. So we're thinking that we, should be able to use this. The specifications say that it can handle up to a 3-inch diameter limb. My guess is that it's probably a little smaller than that, but that's fine. None of the stuff that we have that we would want to put through this is going to be that big anyway. Most of the stuff that we have is going to be the smaller, brambles, branches, small stuff that we've taken off of these trees, like we were cutting down earlier. So it's not going to be any of this giant, limbs that would otherwise get put in there. Something that's 3 inches, we're probably going to keep and put in our small wood pile, just so that we can use it when we either have campfires here on the property or when we're boiling sap in the spring. So yeah, we're going to take it out of the box, put it together, and give it a run. We'll come back here in a little bit when we get ready to give it a try. So no unboxing video would be complete without actually showing the box being opened here. So here's the open. We're going to use the tractor bucket as the garbage and little item storage. Basically, we'll take that, when it's filled up, when we're done, and we'll just pile it into one of the piles of wood that we're going to burn or whatever. But a couple pieces come in bubble wrap. The rest of it looks like it's pretty much in, 1 or 2 pieces. There is some lightweight wood here that doesn't seem very tough, right? Or very strong, pretty thin, but that's holding it together. You can see that, the tires are in there. This is the top bucket that you put leaves and stuff into. On the side, which is this piece here, is where you'll feed in sticks. So yeah, gonna continue to rip this thing apart and then get it out of the box, get the box taken apart, and start putting it together. Here's what it looks like when we've got the packaging removed. So you can see the box was taken out there, and then I disassembled the little wooden pallet thing that was all around it. It comes stacked up on this little block right here, so I kind of left it on that. I'm gonna go ahead and start putting the wheels on first so that I can then easily move it, and then we'll take care of the rest. But as you can see, the instruction manual is not very, extensive. There's just a couple things that we got to put together here. So it looks like handles, a little stand, and then put the hopper on the top. Go ahead and do that now, but just wanted to show intermediate step here, what it looks like. All the parts that we have to use are pretty much in this bag there, that bag there, and then 2 tires and 2 bars. So not a ton of stuff with this. There's a bag underneath the book there that is supposed to be where you can catch the chips if you want to. We're just going to shoot them on the ground, but I guess if you wanted to catch the chips, you could. So we'll be back in a minute with this as it's being assembled. So the first problem we have putting this together is that this is supposed to slide down. And as you can see, the wheel is hitting the stopper there. This is just not leveled right. So if it's down, I can understand this was to lock it in. But if it's up, it's supposed to be able to slide under there, and it's just not able to slide. So I don't know exactly what I'm supposed to do about that. There isn't much I can do on the wheel. I guess I could try to cut away a little bit of this plastic to get it to slide under there, and I may have to do that. I'm not exactly sure why it isn't cut right. Sometimes you have these problems with Harbor Freight stuff, right? The quality's not always top of the line. It does work, but it's to save the money, you end up with some occasionally less than optimal assembly. So yeah, I'll have to figure this one out. It does have a lot of play on the downward motion there, so I can probably just trim it up a little bit, see what we can figure out. So problem solved for this wheel. So what I did, I don't know if you can make it out very well, but I just kind of dug out a little bit with the box blade here. Dug out a little bit at the front just to kind of get enough clearance for the tire to go on there. And now, if I drop the tire on there, you can see that it slides all the way in and clears it. If we look underneath, it drops all the way down. And then this will still be allowed to come down and lock if we need it to. So this lever definitely still can pull and grab onto the tire. But the tire can now at least move and be free of the rubber getting in the way. So now I can get the washer and the cotter pin on there. Okay, we'll do this and get the other one done as well. So the issue on the tire was the same on the other tire. I had to cut out the back of that. I'm not sure if that I was doing something wrong. I don't think so though. There's no way that I could fit that tire on there with that rubber piece in the way. trim a little bit out of the way and the tire fits right on. So we did have to do that. Otherwise, the other thing that we had to do so far was put the stand leg on there. That was really simple, just 4 bolts with washers and anti-vibration like rubber pads. So pretty straightforward. Once again, the tires though, they would not fit on. There was no way to get those on there until you took a box blade or a razor or something and just trimmed away about 1/4 of an inch of the rubber. Once you trim that away, it fits right in and you can get the tire to go onto the axle and get the cotter pin through. Okay, so here we are finished up. What we got is the bottom leg put on, as I showed you a minute ago. And then we also put a handle on. So the handle goes here so that you can lean it back and carry it around, or you know, roll it around. We are now going to put gas and oil in it and fire it up. So I know this is probably not the thing that you should do, but it works. We are on our lot and we don't have a funnel, and the oil fill is in a pretty precarious spot under there. So basically what we did is the system came with this little like plastic coated paper. So it is really plastic coated. I didn't have to worry about something coming off of it. And we folded this up to make a funnel, and it just fits underneath there. So if you run into that where you don't have a funnel handy and you're at a place where you can't easily get one, this thing that came in the box that tells you to put oil and gas in it does work for that. We'll make sure we bring a funnel for next time, but for our initial fill, it worked fine. And as you can see, it did not fall apart or anything, so we didn't have to worry about any pieces of paper or whatever getting into the oil. Okay, so we have run through, I don't know, 100 sticks maybe, something like that. It really does do a pretty good job of chopping the sticks up. You can see it doesn't get it perfect though. There is still a lot of little twigs and stuff left in there. It would be nice if they all kind of got crumbled up. But the bigger stuff does definitely get chopped. You can see that there is chips all over the ground here. It does an okay job at that. I would say that it definitely has a hard time at the 3-inch size. I wouldn't, you know, we stalled it out a couple times using it. Probably you want to stop around 2.5 inches. And it might be that some of our wood is not completely dry, right? The limbs that we've cut down. So in all fairness, that may be the case. If it was drier, it would work better. But we were able to do that. One thing that we don't love about it, it does a good job and we're happy with it in general. But one thing we don't love about it is we have a lot of like crooked sticks. I don't know if you can make that out, but it's like, you know, they're bent, right? So what the problem is that we've had these piled up in a pile for 6 months, 5 months, waiting for a day to burn it. We haven't had a good day to burn it. It's either been too wet or too dry. There's been like very little in the middle for us, and we don't want to take a chance of starting a forest fire or anything. So, you know, we try to be careful. But these sticks, because they were from trees that didn't get a lot of light, and they were, you know, struggling for light, they're twisted and bent and turned in all sorts of directions. And the chipper does not like that at all. The way that you feed it into this hole right here, you put them in there, and it needs to basically be perfectly straight or really close to straight in order for it to continue to feed it in. It also doesn't like it if there's branches sticking out the side. So we were constantly having to deal with like that branch right there sticking out like that. That would not work. This stick here in general probably wouldn't work just because of the curve on it. It does not like any kind of curve. And that makes sense, right? It's a straight shaft going in there. If you can see it from the side, it's just a straight pipe. So it doesn't have the ability to bend it in any way. So we understand that. This is not a commercial grade chipper, right? This is for the home user. But it would be better if it had a little bit of ability to pull in some of those twigs and sticks, especially when something has twigs on it, right? Like most of our branches here have twigs on them, or they have bends and twists. So like these guys here, you can see like there's a V right there. There's no way that would go in. You have to basically cut that and then take the bottom part. This one would work up until you got to the beginning there where it's twisted like that. So we would have to cut that off. These ones, of course, you know, you'd cut them off of here and follow it up. But you see there's a V in that right there. That one has a V right there. We would have to squeeze those together to push them through, which isn't very safe, right? You don't want your hand next to that thing. So there's a lot of finagling that it requires. This guy here is definitely on the thickest side of what you would do with it. I don't believe that would be 3 inches in diameter. It's probably about 2.5, and that would stall it out for sure if we ran that through there. Not to mention that we would then have to cut off these guys. I think this is going to work a lot better when we go to process the pine branches that we took off today. The pine is of course much straighter and it's a lot thinner. The thin stuff goes through great. So like something like this would have went through just great. I don't know why we didn't put that through, but that one would have definitely went through just fine. And it works, right? It's doing exactly what it says it's going to do, but there's just some limitations to be aware of. It's not a commercial grade machine. It's not going to suck all the branches in for you. It's going to take what you push in, and that's about it. The top piece here works okay, but if you look inside of here, it's a very small opening at the bottom here. You know, you have this big container, but it's a very small opening, and it's angled to the front from the back, so the angle is this way, and that makes it very difficult to get stuff in there. So that one we were constantly having to like push the sticks down with another stick, and you know, it does a great job when it gets in there, but it's not terrific. So overall I would give it like a 7 out of 10. What do you think? 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 5? What are your thoughts? 6. All right, so the wife says a 6. She was doing most of the feeding, so I would definitely go with her opinion more than mine. I was cutting the branches and handing them off to her. So yeah, 6 out of 10. I mean, for the price, it's not bad by any means. It's an inexpensive tool. It does a good job at cutting up straight pieces. Now, this wood chip right here will be perfectly sufficient for me to use in my garden along the pathways and as a mulch. We were considering using it for the chicken coop, but I don't think that's going to work. These pieces are just entirely too big, which, you know, that's no fault of this. That's just, I wasn't sure how thick they would be. I'm sure in a pinch we could use this in the chicken coop and the chickens would be just fine. But I don't think this is going to soak up the moisture that those little flake chips that we buy at Tractor Supply would do. So we'll probably just keep with those, because we do use the deep litter method in the chicken coop, and we don't want to have anything that wouldn't suck up the pee and the poop. And this, I don't believe, would do a very good job of it, because it's just so chunky, you know. But as a mulch in the garden, it'll be terrific. I think that, you know, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that as a mulch in the garden. It will work great. It's a natural product. It's from here. We don't have to go anywhere to get it, and we have a nearly unlimited supply of trees around here that are going to need to be cut down and limbed. So assuming that we can figure out the best method of getting the limbs through here efficiently, you know, we'll probably be fine at making a lot of that. We are going to probably just burn this pile though, because it's kind of a pain in the butt to tear apart these little brambles. You know, there's just so many, I guess they're not brambles, they're branches. So many branches in here, and they're all weaved together. We had originally planned to burn this, so we didn't pile it in any way that was like, you know, systematic. It was going to just go up in flames, so who cared? We're now trying to take it apart, and we're seeing the error of our ways there, or I'm seeing the error of my ways, in the fact that that's just not going to happen. So we're going to have to light this on fire. We think that tomorrow it's supposed to have a light rain. Hopefully it will, and if it does, we'll bring the tractor over, lift up the pile a little bit, put a bale of hay under there, put a little bit of, you know, igniter fluid of some sort in there, probably a little diesel or gas, and then light it up and just let the pile burn. We also have a pile down here that's fresh cut stuff. We'll probably, as this pile over here gets a little hotter, we'll then start bringing that fresh cut stuff up and just throwing it on top. But for right now, just back to the review. The review is positive, just not as amazing as it could have been. We were hoping it would suck in the material a little better and more efficiently. It didn't do a bad job. It just didn't do like a knock your socks off job either. So take that for what you will. If you want a simple, easy to use, easy to assemble, except for the tire issue, chipper, it does work great. I will say that motor started on the first pull. I was amazed at that. I couldn't believe that it actually started, but I turned, you know, set the throttle, pulled the lever or pulled the string, and it just turned on. I was absolutely amazed. And anytime that we did stall it out, you know, you just set the throttle back to start, pull the string, and it started on the first pull. So that the motor is definitely a good motor from what I can see. Not super strong. It does stall out kind of easily, but it's super easy to start, which is great, right? There's nothing worse than sitting out here pulling on the start string 500 times. So overall, yeah, 6 out of 10. Pleased, but not amazing, right? So not blown away. Yeah, not blown away. We're happy with it, but we could be happier. I have to stop here because it's going to rain, but I just wanted to revisit the rating we gave this. So when we were dealing with the mess of crooked hardwood branches, this tool was not the best. We were pretty disheartened by it. It did not work great for that at all. As you can see, we actually just burned the pile because we were tired of trying to deal with it. So we did have a whole lot of pine branches though. We took down plenty of pines over there, and there were branches galore, anywhere between 5 and 20 feet long, from a ½ inch to probably 3 inches in diameter. And this thing ate through them without a single problem. I've got to say, I'm very impressed with its performance with pine branches and even small logs. So this thing just worked terrific. You can see this giant pile of chips here. It's pretty deep, actually really deep. I don't know if you can see, but we've got lots of needles in there from the pines, but also a good amount of chips. Everything is broken up really well. Super deep. That middle of the pile right there is probably 1.5 feet, 2 feet deep. This is where the output was. You can see the indentation. It really does blow the stuff out of there. So I'm going to revisit my rating. If you're going to do a bunch of hardwood crooked branches, this is not the tool for you. But if you want to chop up piles and piles and piles of softwood branches, specifically long skinny pine branches, this thing will just chew through them like there's no tomorrow. We did probably 100 branches, 80 branches in less than an hour. The only reason we're stopping right now is because it's going to rain, so we figured we'd quit while we're ahead here and just call it a day. But this thing really did do a terrific job, ran through them. I would give it a 9 out of 10 for the softwood. We did give it a 5.5, 6 out of 10 for hardwood, crooked branches, because it is a pain to feed those in. But if I guess for everything, the tool is designed for a specific purpose. And if you have softwood branches that are long and straight, it will chew through these things like there's no tomorrow. So 9 out of 10 at least for that usage. All right, you can hear the rain is coming. A lot of dark clouds in the sky, so I've got to finish up here. But just wanted to give an update on that and revisit our review of it. We are definitely keeping this now. It is a pretty terrific tool, but solely for its one purpose. Thanks again for watching. I have to stop here because it's going to rain, but I just wanted to revisit the rating we gave this. So when we were dealing with the mess of crooked hardwood branches, this tool was not the best. We were pretty disheartened by it. It did not work great for that at all. As you can see, we actually just burned the pile because we were tired of trying to deal with it. So we did have a whole lot of pine branches though. We took down plenty of pines over there, and there were branches galore, anywhere between 5 and 20 feet long, from a ½ inch to probably 3 inches in diameter. And this thing ate through them without a single problem. I've got to say, I'm very impressed with its performance with pine branches and even small logs. So this thing just worked terrific. You can see this giant pile of chips here. It's pretty deep, actually really deep. I don't know if you can see, but we've got lots of needles in there from the pines, but also a good amount of chips. Everything is broken up really well. Super deep. That middle of the pile right there is probably 1.5 feet, 2 feet deep. This is where the output was. You can see the indentation. It really does blow the stuff out of there. So I'm going to revisit my rating. If you're going to do a bunch of hardwood crooked branches, this is not the tool for you. But if you want to chop up piles and piles and piles of softwood branches, specifically long skinny pine branches, this thing will just chew through them like there's no tomorrow. We did probably 100 branches, 80 branches in less than an hour. The only reason we're stopping right now is because it's going to rain, so we figured we'd quit while we're ahead here and just call it a day. But this thing really did do a terrific job, ran through them. I would give it a 9 out of 10 for the softwood. We did give it a 5.5, 6 out of 10 for hardwood, crooked branches, because it is a pain to feed those in. But if I guess for everything, the tool is designed for a specific purpose. And if you have softwood branches that are long and straight, it will chew through these things like there's no tomorrow. So 9 out of 10 at least for that usage. All right, you can hear the rain is coming. A lot of dark clouds in the sky, so I've got to finish up here. But just wanted to give an update on that and revisit our review of it. We are definitely keeping this now. It is a pretty terrific tool, but solely for its one purpose. Thanks again for watching. So if you liked this video and it was helpful to you, we'd appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel by clicking the subscribe button below. Give us a thumbs up, so a like that actually does help promote our channel, and YouTube pays attention to those likes. And then you know, feel free to leave feedback if you have any ideas of something that we could do better, or how to handle this crooked pieces of wood a little bit better, or these crooked sticks. We're happy to hear feedback, and we would love to, you know, get your input. Otherwise, once again, click like, subscribe, click the bell so that you get notifications when we do updates. We try to put a new video out once a week, and we appreciate you watching. Thank you.